Hello everyone, today I will read Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Chapter 5 The Dementor. Tom woke Harry the next morning with his usual toothless grin and a cup of tea. Harry got dressed and was just bestrolling a disgruntled Hedwig to get back into her cage when Ron patched his way into the room, pulling a sweatshirt over his head and looking irritable. "The sooner we get on the train the better," he said. "At least I can get away from Percy at Hogwarts. Now he accusing me of dripping tea on his photo of Penelope Clearwater, you know." Ron grimaced. His girlfriend. She hidden her face under the frame because her nose had gone all blotchy. "I have got something to tell you," Harry began, but they were interrupted by Fred and George, who had looked into congratulate Ron on infuriating Percy again. They headed down to breakfast, where Mr. Weasley was reading the front page of the Daily Prophet with the furrowed brow, and Mr. Weasley was telling Hermione and Ginny about the potion she did made as a young girl. All three of them were rather cheerily. "What were you saying?" Ron asked Harry as they sat down. Later, Harry muttered as Percy storming. Harry had no choice to speak to Ron or Hermione in the chance of leaving. They were too busy having all their chunks down the leaky cauldron's narrow staircase, and peeling them up near the door with Hedwig and Hermes. Percy scratched an owl perched on top in the cage. A small wickerwork basket stood beside the heap of chunks, speaking loudly. "It's all right, Crookshank," Hermione called through the wickerwork. "I'll let you out on the train." "You won't," snapped Ron. "What about poor Scabbers?" He pointed at his chest, where a large lump indicated that Scabbers was curled up in his pocket. Mr. Weasley, who had been outside waiting for the ministry car, struck his head inside. "They are here," he said. "Harry, come on." Mr. Weasley marched Harry across the short stretch of pavement toward the first of two old-fashioned dark green cars, each of which was driven by a fruity-looking wizard wearing a suit of emerald velvet. "In you get, Harry," said Mr. Weasley, glancing up and down the crowded street. Harry got into the back of the car and was shortly joined by Hermione, Ron, and to Ron's disgust, Percy. The journey to King's Cross was very uneventful compared with Harry's trip on the Knight bus. The Ministry of Magic called some almost ordinary, though Harry noticed that they could slide through gaps that ungoverned New Company's car certainly couldn't have managed. They reached King's Cross with 20 minutes to spare. The ministry drivers found them trolleys, unloaded their trunks, tucked their hats in salute to Mr. Weasley, and drove away, somehow managing to jump to the head of an unmoving line at the traffic lights. Mr. Weasley kept close to Harry's elbow all the way into the station. "Right then," he said, glancing around them, "let's do this in pairs. As there are so many of us, I will go through first with Harry." Mr. Weasley strolled toward the period between platform 9 and 10, pushing Harry's trolley and apparently very interested in Intercity 125 that had just arrived at platform 9. With a meaningful look at Harry, he lay casually against the barrier. Harry imitated him. In a moment, they had fallen sideways through the solid mantle onto platform 9 and 3 water, and looked up to see the Hogwarts Express, a scarlet steam engine puffing smoke over a platform packed with witches and wizards, seeing their children onto the train. Percy and Ginny suddenly appeared behind Harry. They were panting and had apparently taken their period at run. Are there, Penelope? There are. There is Penelope, said Percy, smoothing his hair and going pink again. Ginny caught Harry's eye, and they both turned away to hide their laughter as Percy strode over to a girl with long curly hair, walking with a chest thrown out so that she could miss his shiny badge. Once Hermione Weasley and Hermione had joined them, Harry and Mira Weasley led the way to the end of the train, past back compartment to a carriage that looked quite empty. They loaded their trunks onto it, stowed Harwich and Crossland in the luggage rack, then went back outside to say goodbye to Mira and Miss Weasley.